So today I'm sharing some great vintage books. Hey there, it's Mitzi. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing some vintage books I found at the latest book sale. Yesterday I shared the cozy mystery books that I found at the sale, and today I'm sharing the vintage books I found at the sale. I also have some miscellaneous type books that didn't fit either one of those categories, and that'll be part 3, so hang on for that. But today is all about the vintage books, so if you enjoy vintage, you'll like this. Now this is a variety of books. I don't know whether I will even like any of these books, but I'm gonna give them a try. The first one is Ariel Custer by Grace Livingston Hill. I've heard of Grace Livingston Hill. I think she might write like inspirational romance or Christian romance or something. Let me know in the comments, because I think that I've heard of her before. So I'm pretty sure that's what she writes, because I've heard of people in the past reading her. So anyway, it was a beautiful copy and I thought I'd give it a try. The next one I'm not too sure about. It is by Judy Blume, but it's an adult Judy Blume, and I've never read any of those. It's called Wifey, but look at that cool cover. I thought the cover was great. So I'm going to give it a try. It's not very long. I did enjoy Judy Blume as a middle grader, but you know, this is something totally different. So I'm going to give that a try. And then I found a couple of books, Laura Ingalls books, Little House books, that I wanted to add to my collection, because I'm gradually adding some of the other Little House books into my collection. The first is called West from Home, and these are letters written by Laura Ingalls Wilder in 1915. Now I've never read this one, so I'm really interested in that. This book I have read is called On the Way Home, and it's the diary of a trip from South Dakota to Missouri in 1894. And I checked this out from the library and loved it. So I was glad to get my own copy of this one. So yeah, that's just a couple that I want to add to my shelf. This was one I picked up because I have tried to find this at different secondhand bookstores. I've been on the lookout because I read The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Spear. I read that one already. That's a Newbery. And this has always been mentioned too, Calico Captive. So when I saw this cheap, you know, paperback of it, I picked it up because this has been hard to find. So I was excited to see that one. And then I have some more Phyllis Whitney. Now these aren't the middle grade ones, these are the adult ones. But I do love Phyllis Whitney, so I was excited to pick these up too. So I found, and if you don't know who Phyllis Whitney is, she wrote a lot of romantic suspense, and she writes a little bit like Daphne du Maurier, a little gothic suspense kind of books, but they're not too scary or anything like that, but I do like them. They usually have a little mystery in them. And she also writes a middle grade series of mysteries too that I'm trying to collect as well. But this is called The Golden Unicorn. And then The Stone Bull. I mean, these are definitely vintage copies of these books, but they're in great shape. And then Domino. I loved that cover. So those are some to add to my Phyllis Whitney shelf. And then, oh, this one, I am so excited. This is probably one of my favorite finds. This is by Catherine Marshall, who wrote Christy, which is one of my favorite all-time favorite books. Christy, if you have not read it, you need to read that. But this is Judy by Catherine Marshall, and I haven't read anything else by her, so I want to collect several of her books. I do have a couple of other ones that are on my list to be looking for, and I think she wrote some nonfiction too, so I'm excited to read Judy. And this was like the find of the day for me. I was super excited because it's in great shape. I also found another Judy Blume that just took me back. So I wanted this one because I like the cover. It's that vintage cover and it's super fudge. Have you read this? Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing was like my favorite book as a child. When I started reading those little chapter books, after reading Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing, I devoured books. So Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing is definitely a favorite book, and it just brings back fond memories. Well, Super Fudge is part of that series. I don't like them as much as I like Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, but I did read them all, and they're all by Judy Blume. So I want to just add this one to my collection just because I like to, you know, it's a nostalgic thing, and I like to have those on my shelf. Then I found this one that I've never heard of, but I loved the cover, so I'm interested. It's called Wolf Story by William McCleary. I loved that cover. It looks like a super simple story, actually. So I'm not sure what this is, but it looked interesting. And then I did not need this. I have a gazillion copies of this already, but I found this really, oh, it's so cute. A Christmas Carol. This little copy of A Christmas Carol. So I'm adding this to my collection. Not that I need it. My son said, do you really need another Christmas Carol? And I said, yes, I do. I picked up this one because it is, I think this is a Newbery. It doesn't have the Newbery Award on it. It's called The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley. And I was thinking it was a Newbery, so that's why I picked it up. So I hope it is, because I'm trying to collect all the Newbery books. Here's another one I did not need, because I think I have like 2 copies of this already, but I could not resist this cover. Look at this beautiful cover of a little princess. I just think, I love these kind of, the size of these and how they look. I just love these books. I just think they're great. So I picked that one up just because I wanted to. And then I picked up a couple of little paperbacks that just one was just one I wanted to add to my collection of Anne of Green Gables books. It's the Anne of the Island by Ellen Montgomery, and I don't have it in this particular paperback, so I wanted that. And then this is one I've wanted to read for a long time. This is a classic, and it's Daddy Longlegs. I wanted to read this forever, and I like the size of this little book. So hopefully, yeah, the font's not bad, so I can definitely read that. So those are the books that I picked up at the latest book sale that were more vintage type books. And you know I love a good vintage book to add to my shelf. Have you read any of these? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.